Hello, you legends. It's me, Dogg, here, and we are back with another Tru Talk. We are on episode 3 of season 5, and of course, I am joined as always by the one and only SpartanBL. How you doing, Spartan, this week?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's been a little bit of a slow week at work, and it's been a good week. Been able to get some gaming in actually.
Excellent, excellent. What games have you been? What games have you been getting in?
Well, you know, I've been doing that 5M.
The 5M stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
still
I know
enjoy
you're a
that.
big fan there. I know you're a big fan of that. So, like, do you have multiple characters on there, or you just?
I do have a few. I have one that's in law enforcement. I have one in emergency services, like a medic,
Okay.
and then I have one gang guy. Does that gang stuff.
He does the gang stuff. So you hit all the bases. You hit all the bases.
I try to. I definitely try to.
You cause the damage, you chase the damage, and you clean the damage up. Is that what?
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
And this week, of course, we are also joined by a very good friend of mine, mod extraordinaire, BritHD. How you doing, Brit? Welcome.
I'm doing good, you know, just grinding.
Grinding away. And what have you been up to? What are you grinding on?
It's been a mix of like Red Dead Online and Siege, most likely.
Siege, right, and Red Dead. And how much are you are you still hitting the ranked on Siege, or are you playing across the board?
Like, maybe, like I haven't really been doing ranked this season, but I did nearly solo queue to plat near end of it, I think.
To plat, nice, fantastic. Yeah. That is awesome. On solo queue as well. Well done, my dude.
Yeah.
Brit is an amazing person, Step. A fantastic person. I'm very proud to be able to call him a good friend. Like, sitting there shaking his head. Like, take the compliment.
No.
Take the compliment.
Never.
Well, I've had a busy couple of weeks. I had an interview on Tuesday. I had to go for an interview for my passport. Because apparently in the UK, when you get your first passport, you have to go for an interview, and it was the strangest event that I've experienced in a while. They mostly asked me questions about where I stayed, like local landmarks and how I would get there from my house, which I found quite strange. I don't know what relevance that has to getting a passport, but apparently it tells them what they need to know. So yes, I got my first passport. So that is me ready for TwitchCon EU.
Congratulations.
TwitchCon EU, and May. Step, it was very odd. It was extremely odd. It felt strange. I was honestly expecting questions about the person that had to verify my picture, because one of the steps you have to do is that you have a picture taken and that you'll have used on your passport, and you have to get someone to verify that this is actually you. And the person has to have known you for at least 2 years, and they have to work or have been retired from certain jobs like teacher, priest, policeman, doctor, all that kind of stuff. But they can't be related to you. It's so strange. Like, it's so archaic. Like, it is so archaic, you know? So I've been jumping through hoops, but finally, and we're ready on our way to TwitchCon. Which leads me to my question. A quick question: have either of you been at any cons? Have you made it to any cons?
Nope.
Well, pretty much the only con, at least. Well, actually, I've been to a few. The one that I went to that I met a lot of true guys at was playthrough last year, which was a very once in a lifetime experience. I got to meet a lot of awesome people there. Personally, I've been to a few others. As far as I was really big into a TCG, a trading card game. That was a Dragon Ball Z spinoff.
Right.
I did that for a little while. I actually went to a world tournament for that.
Oh, damn.
As kind of more of a guest.
Right.
My cousins were actually participating in that world tournament.
Oh, fantastic.
And actually, the year after I went, my cousin actually won the world tournament for that game.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, they were really big into that game. They got me into it.
Fantastic. What about you, Brett? Did you ever play any of those card games, Pokemon cards, or anything like that?
No, really. Like, The only games that really interest me is just shooters and looters like based, kind of like Division, Destiny, kind of those games.
Right. So have you never been into any type of board games or anything like that?
You're
Or
muted.
have you never been into any type board games or anything when you were younger?
I mean, kind of.
No, fair enough. I used to be a big. I used to be really into like Hero Quest and Space Crusade, all that kind of stuff. Battle Masters, all those sort of kids versions of Dungeons and Dragons, like all the rules just toned down enough for you to be for your average kid to be able to understand it, and not have to know reams and reams of figures, but the amazing thing is for me at the moment is my nephew has recently started getting into those, and he's playing like mine and my brother's old games. He's playing our old Hero Quest and old Space Crusade, and so it's really been good for me because I've got back into painting miniatures through it, and just sort of enjoying the time, you know. But what we spoke about this before, didn't we? We spoke about you've done some D&D before, Spartan.
No, I have not.
No, you've not. Right? I thought we had on a previous show, but yeah. So
Alice and Luna did.
that's right. It was Palace. I'm getting you confused with Palace. That's who I'm getting you confused with. So yeah. So touching on some of the stuff that we were, what do you call it? In fact, this was Steps question for last week, wasn't it? Brett, run us through your equipment. Tell us about what your stream equipment's like, and your keyboard, the lot. Tell us what's going on there. What's your
if I can think of all the names of it. I know I got it's a curved 4K monitor, 144 hertz monitor. I think it's by Omen. That makes like kind of I think it's the like diamond kind of PC.
Right. Okay. So wait, you've got a 4K monitor, like a curved 4K monitor. Like,
Yeah.
That's some wild, my dude. I'm not gonna lie, that's top tier. So do you do any of your gaming in 4K, or do you just have it for that nice crisp resolution that you get regardless?
I mainly use it for my console.
Right. What console's that?
PS4, Xbox, the Switch. I think that's it.
That's it. I mean, isn't that all of them? Just about. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not great on the old consoles.
Forgot the Wii U.
Oh, the Wii, of course. Okay, yeah. But so you mostly use it for the console gaming. So what games have you been playing? Any console games lately? And what's your favorite titles on each of the consoles?
The thing is, like, for like what I use console is more like chill kind of like gaming, because like obviously the most games I have on PC are like kind of competitive, so like of course I only use my PC mainly for like streaming those sort of games. But when like I'm off stream, I will just go on my like PS4, like maybe play like some sport games, story mode games, just to like chill out mainly.
Nice. So that's your time. And have you ever streamed any console stuff though? Or is that just totally your time?
I have tried streaming Star Wars, the new one, the Fallen Order.
The Fallen Order, the Jedi. Yeah.
But I learned I can get like stuck with it, and I get annoyed with it. So I No,
not for streaming. Not for streaming. Yeah, I've been there. Have you played that, Spartan? Have you played the Jedi, the Fallen Order game?
I do not believe so.
Right.
That's the newer one, right?
Yeah, it's the new one.
Yeah,
Is Star Wars
no,
your
I
thing
didn't
at
pick
all,
that up.
or is it something that you're not as?
I've never really been into like Star Wars that much. I mean, I went and saw a movie once or twice because
Yeah.
one of my friends wanted to see it, but I don't know. I just never really got into it.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I was always so like with the age of me, and I'm letting away. What do you call it? I was a little boy when like Empire Strikes Back came out. You know, I have original Star Wars toys. You know, they're not authentic because I played with them until until they were a mess. You know, like you drop them off things and bury them in the garden, and you know all that kind of good stuff. The good stuff you do. So in fact, the only thing I've got left is this Boba Fett figure, which sits on my PC next to me. That's it. That's the only thing that I've got left at the moment. But I was always a huge Star Wars fan when I was younger. But I have to be honest, the newer stuff, I watch it, but it's not as meaningful, shall we say, now for me as it used to be. Yeah. So Brett, getting back to those consoles, you mentioned some sports games. What kind of sports? What do you play?
It's mainly just UFC and wrestling mainly.
Right. So just the combative ones.
Yeah.
But Brett, I didn't know this about you. This is really interesting. I didn't know that you were into. So wait, so do you know? See, just through, I don't know. Are you big into the UFC and WWE, or is it just the games?
I'm more into wrestling than I am to UFC.
Right. So, like, do you watch WWE events?
Kind of.
Right.
Like, from my point of view, the show's kind of got worse, so like I don't watch them anymore that much.
Right. So more like when you were younger. So I have to ask, who was your favorite wrestler?
That's difficult. I'm trying to think when I did start watching. I don't know. I just don't have a favorite. I can't think of one.
Fair enough. What about you, Spartan? I'm looking at you, and I'm going to be honest. I imagine that you have at least one favorite wrestler. Wait, he's looking them up, eh?
No, I have a notepad here up so I can take some notes and stuff. And my push to talk key for this is enter. So it was like making like 10 extra rows. So I'm like, yeah. All right, so that's another thing. Wrestling, I kind of watched it a little bit.
Right.
I mean, I haven't really watched too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Triple H is from the state that I live in. And
I've heard of him.
He's pretty cool.
I feel like Captain America right now. I know that reference.
Yeah, you know that reference. But you don't know the other one that we were talking about earlier. So I'd say probably, you got your Cena. Cena's pretty good.
John Cena, he's in movies as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's in movies. Yeah, so I've heard of him.
He's doing a lot of movies.
He's the one as well with the intro music that's the meme as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. Was that something? Does that mean
you don't
something?
know what that is?
No, I don't. So wrestling passed me by. It did that past me. So that has significance.
What that is that you can't see me is like his thing.
Oh.
It's like his brand, like streamers have, their brand, and that's his whole kind of like brand thing.
Right. So like he's an invisible wrestler. Sorry, I'm just being a dick now. No, actually, I'm showing my age here. When I was younger, British wrestling used to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
Now you'll probably not have heard of real old British wrestling like Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and stuff like that, right?
I've had Haystack before.
These were just big, overweight men. They weren't like, they weren't like. Now I see wrestlers now, and like the majority of wrestlers I see now, these guys are like fit, like their physique, they work out. You can tell they, you know, they train hard and all that. You know, like for example, The Rock and all that. You know, but these guys were like just like 6'5" both ways. You know, like circular, right? I swear it was but honestly there was a couple of guys, and this goes to show you just because as well how untrained and everything they were. Like I remember at least a couple of guys dying during that wrestling era, you know, in the ring, literally, you know, just because of the weight of somebody landing on them in the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they were like untrained. Like, so that was back in, like, you know, like it was.
Damn.
Yeah, like, so you weren't going to see anything spectacular, but you might see a death. You know.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
All right. So I do have a few questions for you, Brett. So my first question is, where did you find Tru?
I found it through I don't know if he's still a partner, but he's Tainted Rumbler. I think he's still a true partner. And I watched him for like a year or two, but I did join the Discord, but I didn't really interact with people. But I think after a year being in this Discord, I started just chatting with True, then so on, so on.
All right. Dogg, what about you?
How did I find Tru? I found Tru through Veli. I'm trying to think how I met Veli. I think it was probably through Siege. Yeah, I think it must have been through Siege. Just like maybe like a random host or a raid or something like that, and then just hanging out, playing, becoming friends, and playing a lot of games together, and then basically through him. That's definitely through Bailey.
Yeah. The way that I found Tru originally, I was actually following here on Twitch. There's a streamer by the name of FuzzFam. He's a cop here in the United States, and he does a lot of family content as far as, you know, the family of being, you know, a family of a police officer. And one of the people that was big in his community, ATC Guardian, was actually a part of Tru at the time, and I believe he still is like a member of Tru. But he was big in, like, I think he may have been a partner at that time. I don't remember. But that brought me in. And then you had GI Toes, trucker streamer. He used to do a lot of streams while he was trucking.
Right.
He had it all set up that, you know, he had all of the chat got read off into his headset and everything else. It was really awesome. And that really got me into, like, watching the rest of Tru. And then I got into watching Azumat. Azumat's a good buddy of mine. And then I went to meet Azumat. I last minute booked a flight to go meet everyone at Playthrough last year. And that was where I'm like, yeah, these are my people.
Mm-hmm.
It's time.
Awesome. So you said you had a couple of questions. Have you got another one for Brett?
Yeah, I got a few. So one thing we talked about earlier, Brett, we talked about like what your setup is, what you have. What's your favorite or your most important piece of stream equipment?
The Stream Deck. It's made so much easier. Like, of course, like, I try to, before, like, I go into games and everything, like, I try have a countdown at least, like, 5 minutes. And, of course, like, that time would normally be spent, like, making a tweet or whatever, like, and just setting everything up. But, like, with the Stream Deck, I can just do it in, like, 1 second. It's just so much easier. It just doesn't take as much time to get ready for stream.
That's awesome. What about you, Doug? What's your favorite piece?
Honestly, it's probably going to be boring because he's hit the nail on the head there for me. The Stream Deck changes everything for you. The things that it allows you to do, it makes all just the normal easy things like scene switching and everything easier. But when you start to really get into it, you can do some really complex things for your stream, especially and add extra content and stuff through where you can trigger gifs, audio, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, honestly I think I would say that anybody that wants to, that really wants to be serious about streaming and take it forward in a serious manner should be looking to have a Stream Deck, because it just adds that extra level of professionalism to your stream. It just makes it so much more seamless and smooth, and and it's well worth the investment. Absolutely well worth the investment.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've been thinking about getting when I finally get back into being a at least part-time streamer, because I haven't been streaming a lot except for for these shows and stuff. But that's definitely something I'm planning to look into. But as of right now, my favorite piece, of course, as I just smack my mic stand here, is this mic. This mic has improved my sound quality 10 times over the snowball that I had. I love it. I really do.
So you got the snowball.
I had the snowball.
Right. I was going to say, yeah. I was going to say, because from my understanding of stuff like the snowball, there's such a pain in the ass. Like they pick up everything. Like everybody that I've known that's had one is like, I can't. It picks up the next door neighbor talking. And I sat with a friend and try to go through, because that with my audio engineering background, he had one, and I sat trying to get filters for him. I sat trying to run through voice meter banana to try and get things to work, like all these other things, try just stack filters on it, and all sorts of stuff, and no, it just wouldn't stop picking up the fan in the other room. So yeah, that's awesome. And what was your model? Sorry, what model? Because this is where I start geeking out. What your new mic? What is it?
My new mic is a Bear Dynamic Fox.
Right. I know Bear. I don't know that specific model, but I know Bear Dynamic very well.
Yeah.
What about you, Britt? Sorry.
Oh. I had a friend here in Tru, or he was a part of Tru, that helped me out with this thing. It's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Britt.
No.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I'd say, I think I got my same from the same company. It's the AT2020, I think it is.
Oh, yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I want to get I think it's a 7SB or whatever it's called, what Val has.
Oh, the SM7B? Yeah.
Yeah. But like this mic, I would rate it like the second best mic you can get for streaming. Like, it blocks most of my background noise if I have any.
I mean, that's good. That's what a good directional mic does. Again, I got the opportunity to geek out here. That's what I think. Unfortunately, with stuff like the snowball and stuff, I think it's an omnidirectional, meaning it picks up equally from every single direction. But you get a good mic like that, and it's like a good studio quality mic, and it will always shut that focus right down, cardioid style. But the SM7B, like, I see a lot of people using it, and it's a fantastic mic. It really is a great mic. To be honest, as an audio engineer, there are other mics out there that would do the job of an SM7B as well. They're maybe not as well known, but they are out there. They are out there, and that's a fantastic mic. That is top of the range. But yeah, I'm going to stop geeking out now.
Well, I actually have a funny story about this mic. So when I first got it, it was actually about the time I was playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption with Tainted Rumbler. And I was trying to get this mic set up, and no one could hear me. Like, they could hear me like tiny little bit. I think Britt may have been there. I don't remember.
Okay.
And I couldn't figure out how to turn my volume up so people could hear me. I was trying to look at settings. I was trying to do things in Discord. Well, you see this little slide right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the gain.
Yeah.
That was all the way at the low, and I couldn't find it because it was on the other side. Do you know how stupid I felt at that exact moment?
Bamboozled. I think I think that's what the kids call that these days.
Super bamboozled.
We've all been there. We've all been in that situation, you know, where something's so obvious, can't see the wood for the trees situation, you know. Yeah. You know, good on you for volunteering it, because I ain't volunteering one of mine.
All right, so my next question here. After this question, we'll go ahead and talk about some other streamer news while we're here. Britt, what is a piece of advice that you wish you would have known when you first started streaming?
Just chill. Because like when I first started like looking at it like seriously, or eventually, you know, like this being maybe a career or like something like that down the road, like I took serious, like I want to change like everything about me. I want to change for the better, so like I can grow as a streamer. And like it just got to a point where like it was just dumb. It was really dumb because I was caring so much like about like changing myself or worrying about like if I wasn't growing. Now I'm just chilling out and just streaming, playing games, and like I definitely see a difference between like me taking like worrying and taking it so seriously to like what I'm doing now.
And I definitely think that's a really good piece of advice. I think we've all kind of been through that where, you know, when you're first starting off, you're freaking out. You only have 2 people in your chat, and you're looking at that number, and that number just feels like it's, you know, make it or break it. But like even myself, you know, I'm still smaller when I do stream. I probably only have 1 to 2 people in my chat, and it's just I've noticed that, you know, you're not gonna get all those numbers right off the bat. I'm an affiliate. I'm happy I'm an affiliate. I'm happy with that. You know, I'm glad that I do have a couple of people that are gonna come say hi, you know, and enjoy my content while I game. Come hang out and talk. Because I mean, it's an awesome thing being able to do that. I'd say, you know, that's kind of my piece of advice to kind of add on to that is, you know, of course, the chill out is a really good one. Get rid of that viewer number. Do not look at it. Because if you're not looking at it, you're not going to be stressed about that. It's going to give you a chance to just be you and enjoy what you're doing. What about you, Doug? What do you got?
Well, we got something, the one piece that I wish I'd known. So you have both covered pretty good ones. So I'll take it something different so that we're because both of them could easily be my, you know, my bit of advice that I'd known. Stream less, and talk to people more. That for, you know, when I first started. And I started for all the reasons that I started, you know. But I streamed so many long streams, 6 days a week, 8, 10, 12 hours every stream. And all it did was burn me out, you know. It wasn't really doing it. And people would drop in, pop in, but you know, I wasn't really getting the opportunity to build a community, and most of my viewers were friends, you know, real life friends, or people that I knew through gaming and such. So yeah, I think one of the mistakes a lot of people make it when they start out is that they think that the more hours I stream, the better. And whilst that might have been the meta a long time ago on Twitch, it's not anymore. So like the one piece of advice I wish I'd known back then: stream less and spend more time watching people's streams and communicating with people, and and being in discords and voice calls with people, all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a whole lot more fun doing that than it is streaming 10, 12 hours, 6 days a week to a handful of people and feeling really down about yourself. You can be spending time with some awesome people, getting to know people and make friends instead.
I want to kind of add on to that. Like, kind of treat your stream as a show, like, because you need days off, and like, if you like, let's say you stream Monday and Tuesday, then like you take a break, then of course like your community or like the people who enjoy your streams will like they'd be excited to like watch your streams again on like the Friday. And I think it's like it's really, you need to find a ground with the hours, because I think 4 hours is like decent amount of hours like you stream like in a day. And don't do what I did. I streamed like every day for a whole year, and that nearly destroyed me. Like I nearly got completely burned out. And I had the whole thought of like, oh, like I can't just like sit on the days where I can't stream, because I always wanted to stream. But I found a way to get around that, because like it's not just about streaming, it's about like doing content on other platforms, like just simple as like creating a clip for Twitter, or even like making a video or a clip for like your live post.
You're right there. You're right, because that is another thing as well. You can be making content without streaming it, and you can even take that streamed content and make more content out of it. So yeah, that is a very good point. That's a very good point. You got some more questions, Spartan?
Well, I didn't know if maybe we want to talk about some.
Oh yeah. That's cool. So let me have a look. I think it Discord up on this. Well, we could talk about the FIFA streamer. We could talk about the FIFA streamer. I don't know if people have heard of this. Cut0411. Actually, we were talking about this the other day in Discord about, weren't we, Brit?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah. So he's a FIFA pro who was banned. He's one like the second biggest Twitch streamer playing FIFA, and he was banned by EA, his account, and he was very unhappy, as you can imagine, because this account was over 10 years old, perma-banned. He took to Twitch a few days later and streamed again with a new account, covering up the name of his new account, and EA took the step of issuing a DMCA claim on his channel, which saw him obviously receive a ban from Twitch. That ban has now been lifted, and he's back to be able to stream, but EA have released a statement claiming that he was threatening staff. So he'd formally received a whole lot of support from professionals, other EA gamers, all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering now if this, if a lot of them have been sort of hoodwinked into thinking that he was more innocent than he has been. He's claiming that that there's a conspiracy against him, but honestly, I feel that, to be honest, in my opinion, that lessens my belief in his side of things. A conspiracy from EA over a single streamer, I find it hard to believe, especially how badly this would reflect on them if it was the case, So, Britt, since I was talking to you about this the other day, what are your thoughts about it? This extra news that has come out.
it's difficult because, like, of course, not a lot of people like EA as a company with a lot of their games, but like, it's I find it just difficult to pick sides because, like, you can't tell if, like, the streamer or the person is lying or the company is. You can't really tell.
Mhm.
And I believe he was even being nasty to other players.
Mhm.
So I'm really wondering if, like, people have changed their minds since they heard that.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should be unbanned, to be honest, because, like, just abusing staff from, like, a game company and even players, like, that shouldn't be like even allowed on Twitch or their game at all.
Yeah.
It's like, because I know there's a person on Siege kind of has, it's just very toxic to other players, and I think he's banned on that Siege, but I believe he's still allowed on Twitch, and I hate that because Twitch shouldn't let, like, someone like that just, like, treat people, like, so horribly. Like, I don't know. I think, like, Twitch needs to be more positive community, but, like, having people like that, you just can't go that way.
Yeah, I mean, you raise some good points there. You do raise some good points. I think the issue that Twitch has is that they legally they can only enforce the rules set so far. You know, I mean, if people are acting a certain way on stream, then absolutely,
Hmm.
you know, the issue is if they are, you know, if bans happen or behavior happens off stream, you know, Twitch doesn't really have as much
Yeah.
scope to lean into that. But I certainly agree with you. If people are being abusive of other players and stuff whilst they're streaming, I do think Twitch should take more action over these things because, you know, it's it legitimizes a certain type of behavior that I'm sure all of us would love. You know, well, I'm sure all of us certainly here would love to see eradicated from games, or at least chased down
Yeah.
as much as possible. Which is the general and overarching toxicity that can be found in just about every corner of gaming. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I do think that it would help. But you know, again, the other thing is that Twitch will probably argue that you know, they're going to look at it from the money point of view, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, probably not want to be held as the moral arbiters of everything. Spartan, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, the way I look at it is this man was banned by EA for his, you know, whatever he was doing in the game. Now, when you're banned, that normally means that, you know, creating another account just for the sake of getting around that ban is normally not gonna be okay.
Yep.
I know I used to run some game servers. I mean, they weren't like, you know, major games. They were Gary's mod servers back in the day. If I banned someone on there and they got on another account to circumvent that ban, they got banned again. It's kind of common sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been that his new account was even suspended because of an IP ban. So that could have been something that happened as well.
Yeah.
As far as them probably saw, okay, he's trying to circumvent this ban. Now he is using their content as far as their game and stuff
Yeah.
without
IP.
the permission of EA at that point.
Yeah.
So really that copyright strike makes sense.
Yeah.
In all honesty. Now, I do understand that this is probably this guy's full-time job, probably going to be his main source of income. But if you do something to screw up and the owner of that or the company that puts out that game decides they no longer want you to participate in their content that they made, it that's just the way it is. So him trying to get around that just, made that worse, really.
Yeah, that's I think you're nailing the head there. Yeah, and I agree with everything that you said. He's tried to circumvent it, and he's known what he was doing because he covered up his username in game. So he knew they see this, they're banning this account. So and this is the other thing as well. To me, when you begin to pull back the layers, it begins to look like he's pushing the boundaries wherever possible and claiming innocence everywhere, which again leads me to believe that this whole conspiracy theory that he's concocting or claiming is a whole, cock and bull story. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I know reading this article, it kind of speaks some more about that. In the past, he played a little bit of the Konami title, Pro Evolution Soccer. But he did not enjoy playing that game at that time.
Right.
He admitted previously that he has no love for the mess of a game Pro Evolution Soccer had become. So I'm curious to see, like, I know EA is probably not going to unban him, and they're probably going to continue banning accounts that he may make to try to circumvent that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they do take it further. And if he does continue to do this, if he gets another DMCA strike for it, because EA obviously does not want him using their content.
Oh yeah, that's very obvious.
So I'm actually kind of wondering what he's going to do from now, because if this is his main source of income, it's probably an issue.
I would agree. I would agree with you. He's created a huge issue here, because even if he did enjoy PES, that doesn't mean the majority of his community will. Like there are definitely going to be people that are watching him that love watching him, but they're FIFA players and they're not PES players. Because that's the thing about FIFA and PES. As much as there's going to be people that play both, there are far more people that play one exclusively over the other, and there's that usual Earls is better, not Earls, not Earls is sort of war between them, which leaves a lot of bad blood. So either way, even switching to PES, if he enjoys it, it's still going to be an issue. So yeah. So go on, sorry, Brett. Go on.
I just looked on Twitter and see if there was like any people like disagreeing with him, but it looked like everyone's like on his side. So
well, that's interesting. But the thing is, the EA statement has just came out today, and one of the things about it that I do wonder about that support is the people that have given them support. Are they still keeping up with the story, or is this something that they came across, was on the street, that was on their feed or whatever? They felt strongly enough to make posts and comments about it, but now it's kind of off the radar a bit, and because, as I say, the EA statement came out today, so I do wonder if that's the whole. He's no longer the hot topic, so people aren't really even paying any more attention, I mean, this does raise another, interesting discussion in the whole showing support in these situations, or maybe even condemning people in these situations before you have a real understanding of the full facts. I think there's a lot. I suppose this is part of the cancel culture, but at the same time, there are, as much as there are cancel culture people out there are people out there willing to defend people just as vehemently as people are trying to cancel them, and none of them know the actual facts of what's going on, so you have this whole war going on, and people really don't know why they're arguing,
Yeah, definitely. And I've been doing a little bit of more research while I've been sitting here. Another article here explains a bit more from the EA perspective. Like the title of this article is EA bans abusive player from all its games and services. So Kurt 0411 is actually banned from all of
EA games.
Complete, like how Steam used to do the VAG bans and stuff, or they still do that. So as of right now, in November 2019, he was banned from playing FIFA 20 events by the publisher. Now, EA banned the player from its entire portfolio of games and services. So the statement released today by EA is banned from playing our games and accessing our services due to serious and repeated violations. The statement released on Twitter also explained that Fennec had initially been banned from FIFA competitions and live events after he threatened employees and other players. In the days following that ban, various EA employees' Twitter accounts were hacked, displaying rogue messages supporting Fennec. Support staff on FIFA reported significant levels of personal abuse as far as that. Let me pull up this tweet here.
Significant levels of personal abuse. That sounds extreme.
So let's see. Since the time that he was banned from the events and future competitions, Fennec had continued to post abusive and threatening messages, videos about EA employees and competitive players on social media, and he had encouraged others to do the same. His messages crossed the line of decency into very personal attacks and breached the terms of service of EA. They are not going to tolerate that behavior, and Kurt0411's EA account would be banned for playing our games and accessing our services due to these serious and repeated violations. You know, they go on to say that they build games and communities for players to have fun. Creating a safe and enjoyable experience for everyone without fear of harassment or abuse is a vital part of that. And, you know, their terms of service include a code of conduct as far as that. So, I mean, I personally believe that they were very within their right to do that. Plus, it's their content, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. But at least, you know, they do mention that, you know, he has definitely broken their code of conduct.
Oh,
as far as that goes.
Yeah. And in all honesty, the way that they're speaking personal insults. So with someone with his former reach in the game, he will have known staff, you know, and if he's been to events, he will have known them. So it sounds like he's just really went off the deep end at them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, like, just completely torched his own career, like just in a peak of rage.
Like this tweet from February 24th of this year, he said in this tweet, "End of the day, I've never said anything I shouldn't have. This is just deeper than anyone thinks. They didn't want me competing events because they were scared I'd win them. Now I'm the second biggest streamer of their game, and they're scared I'll overtake their golden boy."
Right. Oh, so now we get a wee bit more deeper. So now we've got the jealousy of the top streamer, the top FIFA streamer, right? The golden boy, because who uses that term and anything but like, their golden boy, you know? So wow, so the plot thickens and worse.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I'm definitely interested. Well, actually, I'm not really interested because this guy seems like a anyways.
Yeah.
That I'm not really interested to see where this goes or what happens, but it'd be curious to see if this has pretty much ended his career, which I'd pretty much guess it probably has.
I think it probably has. I think it has.
He's gonna have a couple dedicated people that just really don't understand how horrible of a person he is. Yes. Actually, it seems like.
Yeah.
I'm not one to normally like say stuff like that, but at that point, I mean, don't get me wrong, there could be something way in the background that nobody can see. So, but at this point, with everything that's been said,
yeah, you know, that it's a possibility. Yeah,
there's always a possibility, but I mean, at this point, he's banned from their services. He's tried to get around it. He got banned again. He's using EA's content. EA is not going to allow that. EA does not want him to be involved in any of their stuff at all. And, you know, that's just how it's going to be unless EA all of a sudden decides to go, yeah, whatever. But I don't see that happening anytime. So as far as that, I'd say we can file that away in he's an idiot folder.
Oh, yeah. Don't do this at home, kids. Do not attempt these stunts at home.
So let's get back into a few more of my questions real quick. So as a part of this show, we not only want to talk about streaming things, but I personally feel like we want to get to know, you know, our people here in Tru as well. So I got a few questions that may not be 100% streaming related, but you know, I'm gonna mix them up. So Britt, I know here in True, we have a few things about superpowers. People always like their superpowers. We got Vlad, the Russian superhero something. I really don't know what his superpower is, other than fighting crime, of course. So if you could have one superpower, Britt, what would it be?
Hmm.
You weren't expecting that question, were you?
No, I've had this before, but I can't remember what I said. I think it has to be either between super strength or visibility, really.
Now, why would you want invisibility?
No one can see me, so I can sneak around, and I can sneak in Dogg's chat.
As long as you aren't sneaking in his bedroom, we'll be okay. Or my bedroom. Stay out.
wait, there was a delay on that. Oh wait, I better say my bedroom as well.
Yeah. So, Dog, what about you, man? What would you want your superpower?
I could.
Always a tough
Okay,
question.
let me go. I will go with super intelligence because that wouldn't be a superpower. I'd be an evil genius. Okay, so I will go with like Ozymandias from Watchmen. I will be the smartest man on the earth. That's what I'll be. I can lord
All I
over
can
everybody.
imagine now is like your forehead being about 20 times
exactly.
larger.
Yes, like this.
That's all I can imagine at that time.
Yeah.
Just the whole Megamind thing going on there.
Yeah.
That's all that picture went into my head. Like I could just see your forehead just go.
Yeah, and
exactly like that.
That noise especially.
Okay. Exactly that noise. So for me, I actually haven't thought about this question. I try not to think about it. That way, I could, the first thing that came to my mind would be right. I'd want the ability to, help somebody out in their time of need. So whether that be, that's kind of an open-ended thing there, though. See, now I got myself in a little situation here.
Dump by your own question, hoist by your own petard. What's going on here?
No thanks. Do we have a judge here in chat?
What's up?
Oh, boy.
But they're out in force today. That's the third one. Like, not in this stream because I had 2 in my one today. So they're out
following
in
you,
force.
man.
Yeah. They want this sweet body. What can I say? It's literally sweet because I wash in honey every day. So literal, just sweet body.
All right, so I don't know. I'd have to say maybe super strength. Actually, no. I would want the ability to bring. I can't decide if I want the ability to bring people back from the dead, or if I want the ability to like heal someone that someone got into a really bad car accident, was about to go, and I could be like, "You're good, fam."
I mean, that's a strange one, and I've never I've heard that question asked and answered a lot, but I've never heard that one. So let me just say, so your power would be the power to keep people on this earth, So what happens? What happens? When so that stops when you die, or can you do it to yourself?
No, that wouldn't be fair.
That wouldn't be fair. So you can't do it to yourself. So you can keep loads of people alive, and then, while you're alive, do they stay alive? See, if you were to die, do they then die if they're still alive, or are they alive? How does that? What's the specifics? Because I'm interested.
I'd say, they would be able to stay alive. They wouldn't have immunity at that point. But that may save or heal their injuries at that point. But, if something were to happen again, of course I probably wouldn't be there, and it would happen. I'd say that would be that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird response to that question.
I mean, yeah. I mean, considering it was your own question and you had all this time to prepare.
But like I said, I really tried not, like, with these questions, I wrote them down, and I know we conversed about them a little bit, but I tried not to think about them. I tried not to prepare any responses to them, so that way it'd be just like you guys, off the top of the head, trying to think about it. And I thought, that would be fair. All right, so next, why don't we go ahead and talk about GameStop?
Oh, GameStop, yeah.
Mm.
So, a recent article in Polygon, and we won't actually go into all the real details over this because it's not really what we want to focus on, but let me see. I just want to get some of the numbers so we can get some of the ideas. So, GameStop are reporting some, well, not only drastically dropping staff morale, but a real drop in their traffic this year, which has been a steady drop over the last few years. Their share prices are at a 15-year low. And it's
That's rough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and even though they're at that 15-year low, they're not a good, don't go out and put them in your portfolio. They're not going to reclaim. Like, this is the very real on the high street results of the vastly growing digital market of gaming now. I know when I switched from console to PC, I haven't bought a hard edition, like a hard copy of a game since I switched to PC, and so I know that means that the market has mostly been recently kept alive by console gamers, but as we were speaking about earlier, I have little knowledge of modern console, so I take it from that then that from what we're seeing is that there's a larger rise now in people just digitally buying console games rather than actually buying the copy. I don't know if you boys would know more about that, but what were your experiences with buying games? Are you still get a lot of hard copy games, or are you mostly digital?
I mean, I think like the whole sales with like hard copies is definitely will be going down because I think it was like 20 stores of games shut down in the UK. I think just that whole market is just will go down because I think probably the last time I ever bought like a hard copy or like had a hard copy was when Blockbuster was still up.
Oh my days, that's
and that was years ago.
So, funny story, I was just thinking about if I stop adding lines to my text box here. I was just thinking about this. So Blockbuster, we used to be a really huge store. We had one here in town where I live. And I used to get a lot of gift cards to there. And then, all of a sudden, all Blockbusters started closing. So what actually is funny now, the company I work for actually ended up buying out what was left of Blockbuster for their movie rights.
Right.
I'm not going to say who I work for, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys can look that up if you wanted to. And now there are actually like one or two Blockbuster stores that were independently owned that are actually still on Twitter and stuff talking about. And they actually, I believe a couple of them do actually still have storefronts out there. But it's more of a meme at this point.
Right.
So I think like one of their Twitter handles is like the last Blockbuster or something like that. And
well, the South Park episode.
But yeah, that just kind of Blockbuster was in my head at the same time that you were saying that, and I was like, all right, well, we're gonna talk about that for a little bit. But yeah, I used to buy a lot from Blockbuster as well. Haven't bought a lot from GameStop. I actually don't think I've ever really pre-ordered anything. and I haven't really bought a lot of hard copies at GameStop. I know the last thing I bought at GameStop was a certified pre-used headset,
Uh-huh.
because when I first started streaming, I needed a headset,
Right.
and it was nice and clean and everything, and it was certified pre-used, so it was supposed to be like new.
Yeah.
It even said on it like new. Well, the issue is the microphone on the headset sounded like this. Yeah.
Warble.
So that's my last experience of purchasing anything at GameStop. So I can see how things are going. I was actually reading this article down here that we were talking, and like their biggest issue right now, and I can actually relate this to where I work now, about the extreme pressure being put on these employees.
Yeah.
They're losing a lot of employees over and over because of the things that they are having to push to these customers. So like one of the big things that they were doing, or I think they're doing right now, is they're trying to buy, what is it? That if they're not hitting these company set goals, these employees are getting written up. Manager who's been with the company for more than a decade is really getting fed up with what's going on.
Yeah.
And like if they aren't hitting these goals on buying these devices, they're getting written up, and after 3 write-ups they're getting let go. And I mean, managers are quitting. People are citing stress and cost of living issues. It's just kind of a tough situation to be put in, and I can definitely understand that from my perspective, with the company that I work with, because I went from being someone that got hired to do this job to having to do this job and also be an entire smart home installation guy, where I'm not only doing my job, but I'm also there to try to talk people into buying smart home products, the smart thermostats, the cameras. Also, hey, I know you're on, looks like you may not have a lot of money, but here's a $500 sound system that
the upsell
that you might want. Yeah.
The upsell.
And we're required to set that up all the time at every customer, required to clean TV screens and everything when we're in the customer's house. So it's actually kind of interesting to see that other companies are running into the same thing, where they're pushing employees down.
This is the issue with this here, is that they're trying to crack the whip on the employees when there's nothing really that the employees can do about this. Demand is down. That's the issue. It's not bad employees. It's not lazy people or salesmen that can't sell things. It's a lack of demand. Like, as the article itself says, like, it says about Fortnite. For them, Fortnite is killing them. More than half of every gamer under the age of 18 plays Fortnite almost exclusively. Almost 50% of gamers if you're under 18, then you're a kid, by the law. So nearly 50% of kids play Fortnite exclusively, which means it's a free to play game. All you're getting is V-Bucks. And see, this is another thing that I wonder about it as well. I wonder about this, about if it's the whole digital thing is also linked to parents being able to control better how much money's being spent through, credit card purchases and stuff like that. So if they're buying the V-Bucks, they know how much money's being spent on the V-Bucks, and it's not going to the shop to get them, and where a whole lot more money might be disappearing, pocket money, money that's earned for chores or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
It definitely gives them a bit more control, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I was also reading a part in this article about GameStop, that the thing that's saving them right now is actually a lot of merchandise sales, where they're selling the clothes, the plushies, the pop figures and stuff like that. That's where the focus is kind of shifted.
Perhaps that should be their pivot. Like, perhaps they need to look at it as being less aimed at primarily selling games and more selling game paraphernalia, as you say, clothing, plushies, keychains, all that, all statues, all that kind of stuff that goes on with it, and actually reducing the space where games are actually sold in the shop, but as well as that, what I was one of the things I wanted to was use this as maybe a chance to talk about any memories of any overriding memories. You've already done that a lot about yourself, Spartan, but is there any overriding memories you have, Brit, of going in to get games? Was that ever like a ritual for you, or was that something you used to do a lot?
Like, I don't really remember much, but like, I think that is always gonna stay with me. Just like walking down to Blockbusters and just like seeing what game I could rent or whatever.
Yeah. So was it mostly rentals you did? With games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I never really rented many games. I have to be honest, that wasn't an experience that I what do you call it? I did used to buy a lot of second-hand games for consoles as well, but I personally don't have any personal experience with GameStop. My worst experience in a game store was actually in one of the game stores, the company that's just called Game. I don't know if they still exist. And I was buying a game. I can't actually remember what game it was. It wasn't even for me. It was as a gift for someone, and it was for it would have been a PlayStation, original PlayStation, going way back here. And I always was in the habit, and I still do to this day, if I'm buying a disc and the disc isn't in a sealed package when I buy it, and they get it from behind the desk or something, I always say, look, I'm just going to look at the disc, I'm just going to check it, make sure, because it's we're spending 40-50 quid here. Do you know what I mean? And of course, this time I looked, and it honestly looked like someone had been sanding down the wall with the disc. That's the level of damage that was on there. Like, just straight lines, like up and down this desk, like someone had been, like in this way on something, So I says to the guy, and of course I should add, it was a gift because it was round about Christmas time, so the shop is fairly busy, and I said to the guy, look, mate, can you get me another copy? This is really, this isn't good. So he's quite sort of, and he takes a look at it and says, oh, that's okay, that'll work. I said, well, I'm actually buying a new game here, so I want a new disc, not like a second-hand disc, which this clearly is, So he's like, oh, well, okay then. And he goes and he gets another one, puts it in the box, and I'm like, I'm just going to check it again, right? And I open up the box, and sure enough, this one is just as bad. It's got all sorts of marks on it. It's scratched, it's scarred. I'm like, dude, come on, look at this, Another 2 discs we go through, right? And by this time, the queue is getting behind me, And there's this old guy down the queue, he's in his 50s or something. He's clearly there with like his grandson or something, and he's saying, I think you're onto something here, son. He's leaning across. I think you've discovered something here. 5 discs. It took by the time I got to the 5th disc, that was the one that was clean, And I should say, one of the discs, I think the 3rd or the 4th disc, he took it out the drawer, blew on it, and then wiped his tie across it. Right? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you wipe your tie across a disc? Like, what is this? So he hated me. He hated me. Like, I used to have to go past that shop to go to one of my work, and every time I walked past and he seen me, I could see him looking at me like, oh man, if looks could kill. But so always check your discs. Always check your discs. I later found out actually, I had a friend that worked in not that branch of game, but a different branch of game. I later found out that it was game policy that staff could take the discs home to play as long as they brought them back, And so this was what it was. All these discs they'd been taken home, and staff had used them and treated them like easy come, easy go, and now we'll just sell them to the public as brand new items, So yeah, that was my My worst experience.
Yeah, I would say I probably would have walked out after the second or third one there, especially like when he did the tie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, you know what? You got a lot of people in line. I'll come back another day, and then just totally never come back to that store and find it somewhere else.
That was the issue. I'm sure it was the cheapest place to get the game. But I got the copy anyway. I got the clean, brand spanking new. Nobody had their grubby mitts on it, and not silk tie.
No
either.
ties? Yeah, I was gonna say no ties.
What about you two? Have you had any experiences, bad experiences, good experiences like that?
I can't say that I have any like that other than like the headset issue.
The headset,
that I
of course.
talked about.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it was like one of those like pre-owned, there is no warranty on it.
Oh yeah, so you just get screwed on that. Yeah.
So I just got screwed on it. I mean, it sounded amazing. I still have it floating around here somewhere. But I was just kind of upset about the mic issue.
Yeah.
And it was something internally with it. So it wasn't anything that, it was like just the little mic that popped out that I could just buy a new one, put it in. It was just screwed.
Yeah.
What about you, Britt?
I can't really remember any bad experiences, but I think the biggest issue with like kind of in-game stores are running out. It's the same as like how blockbusters run out because of Netflix.
Yeah.
Because everything is just becoming easier to get, and I think it's just the cons overweigh. The pros overweigh the cons, because like with like a hard copy, you gotta wipe out damage and like it being dirty or clean or whatever. And sure, like the bonus of having a hard copy, you could sell it, but like if you buy digitally, like it's never going to get damaged. Like you can play it many times as you want, and you feel like you haven't wasted like 50 like quid on the game.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I completely agree with that, but I think that it's, whilst this is completely understandable why it's going like this, I think it's kind of sad, because kids these days, and here I'm going to sound like an old man, but kids these days are missing out on that, standing in front of the games rack and thinking, I've got so much, this is what I've got to spend. What am I spending it on? Do you know what I mean? And it definitely, you know what I mean? Like, should I, like, because I remember standing and even when I was older, not just a kid, but I've got this amount to spend on games and looking, do I want to buy this brand new game, or I could get 2 or 3 pre-owned games here, and standing there making that decision in the shop, and that experience. I think it is kind of sad that it's lost, but I understand why it is. They can't offer everything that you said, Brett, all the pros of the hard copy. Of the digital copy, sorry, they can't offer. One also drawback of the hard copy is just the space. I've got a box, a huge box that's got about 50 or 60 Xbox games in it. Another one that's got about 30 or 40 Xbox 360 games in it. These are just huge spaces taken up. Where when I don't play a game online on Steam, it gets uninstalled, and then I install it. So it's. Whilst it's totally understandable, I think it's sad. That we're losing that, and losing that experience that was so awesome.
Well, like another thing we have now, it used to be, you buy a game, you throw it in a disc tray, and you could play it.
Yeah,
just about. Now, with how big these games are getting, they're 50, 60, even 100 gigabytes worth of data.
Yeah.
It takes 3 hours to install or download, and it takes just about the same time whether you buy it digitally or you get it in a disc. It's going to take just about the same amount of time to do that. So there's really no pro as far as, install time anymore, getting a hard copy over a digital copy.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
weird.
yeah. No, and that's true, because back in the day as well, back in the day when internet connections weren't as great as they are, getting the disc and installing it was far quicker than downloading the content. So it still had that, but now with everybody's internet speed is going up all the time, you know, and it's getting more reliable. And as you say, there's now no difference between downloading it, installing it for the disk. So yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see, but sad at the same time. But you know, getting back to the whole GameStop thing, I honestly think that they should be looking into pivoting their business. Like, don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's too late. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't wait until it's like, okay, we're just gonna have to go liquidize the assets and that's it. We're done. You know, find that niche again. Find somewhere where you can start. Because that's the thing. There is a big market out there for gaming related merchandise, you know, for hoodies and t-shirts and all that, all the plushies and all that kind of stuff. There are people out there want that stuff. Do you know what I mean? And if you approached it in the right way, you could get that sort of comic book store vibe happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, but just games instead. Do you know what I mean? You could, but game related paraphernalia. Sorry, yeah, instead. So, yeah, I would be interested to see if they're going to actually do anything like that, or are they just going to keep cracking on their employees? You know, like sell more to the non-existent customers.
Well, like actually,
oh, is he coming
Hello?
back? Is he coming back? We've lost Spartan. Spartan?
maybe. Oh,
There we are.
there
There
we
we
go.
go.
There we are. Oh, that was interesting. So I actually have kind of a funny story. Back when Netflix first started, they were having a really hard issue getting off the ground, but they had a really good business plan and everything else. But they were having financial issues. So they actually reached out to Blockbuster to try to have Blockbuster buy them out. And, you know, they'd still continue putting this out, but, you know, they needed that financial backing. Well, the CEO of Blockbuster at the time was like, that ain't ever going to take off. And kind of shoot him away. 10 years later.
Yeah. That's like that's like all the managers that refuse to sign the Beatles. You know, like there's like several music managers had the opportunity to sign the Beatles, said they wouldn't be anything. Good job. I don't see when it comes to stuff like that. You know, you know, it's always the wrong person in the wrong place, because just a little bit of vision would have ensured, you know, Blockbuster. We could be talking about what you're watching on Blockbuster tonight and not Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could literally be talking about like that, you know. So yeah, wow. That, I bet he kicks himself. I bet he wakes up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat. That guy, you know. Oh, Netflix.
I believe he is no longer the CEO of Blockbuster,
well,
for a reason.
Well, I mean, is that reason that Blockbuster's gone?
So now that we've kind of beat that horse to death as far as Blockbuster and GameStop,
yeah.
We're getting close to time now, so we'll just kind of finish up, I think, with a few more questions. So one thing, Britt, what do you think your ultimate goal with streaming is going to be? Like way maybe 10 years out. What do you think you want to do?
Oh, obviously, it'd be really nice to make this as a career, and I want help many charities as I can. Like, at the moment, I'm on the stream team for heart support, and of course they like help with struggle with depression, like just anything with mental health. And I hope I can help many charities as I can with like mental health. And also I want change how Twitch looks at child content. I want change how esports change look at UK people, because obviously we're not that great at video games, really. And obviously in the history, like, people say, oh, like, you know, we're bad at video games or whatever, but I want just change that also.
So you want to change the stigma around some things within the
Yeah,
streaming
I think
world.
that should be changed to make it at least a little bit better.
All right. Dog, what about you?
Like, you know, to make this my like full-time career, like to be able to live streaming, you know, that's my ultimate goal. But along the way, you know, to make friends, to have fun, and to try and grow a community. That's I have this idea in my mind that I want my community to be like Cheers. You know the bar in Cheers, right? Where everybody knows your name. You know, like where you can come and people know like what's been going on in your day because they were listening. They were here yesterday when you were talking about it, and they're interested. And you know what I mean. Where you can go and when you're having a good time, people and things are going well, people celebrate it with you, and when you're not, they come and they lift you up. You know, I personally what I would like to see, and I think it's happening more on Twitch, that I would like to see more community based streamers becoming bigger because Twitch is changing and it has far more potential than just not that I'm trying to do down anybody who does this, but it has far more potential than just people streaming games. You know, Twitch is a place that could be a great social media hub, a place where people actually connect, where they're doing their social media, but in a live setting. You know what I mean? You know, where they're in talking to people, making conversations in chat. You know, I'd like to see more of that. You know, one of the things that I'm not a big viewer of big streamers, and the hugest reason for it is because chat's such a nightmare. I'd love to see Twitch, you know, the culture move away from copy pasta and emote spam towards more communication with people. You know what I mean? Talking to people, conversations going on, independent thread conversations happening in the same chat. You know, real community, and I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to be one of the people to make that happen. You know.
My hair never stays where I want it to.
What about yourself, Spartan? What about that question for you?
See, I mean, I've kind of answered this question a few times before. I personally don't know if streaming is going to be something that I'd be able to do full time. It'd be awesome, but I don't think that's going to be something that I could do full time. Sitting here is nice. I enjoy it, but I need to be out there. I need to be outside doing something or doing something with my hands that isn't just playing video games. As much as I love playing video games, I know there's a lot of streamers out there that kind of do. They stream what they do. Like there's a few bounty hunters out there that live stream that, which is kind of cool. And then there, like earlier, I was talking about GI Toes, who was a trucker streamer that streamed while he was driving truck, and he had it all set up so it was safe and everything. That was awesome. So there might be something like that in store for me in the future. But as of this time, I just want to ride the rave. The wave. English is hard today. I want to ride the wave as far as that goes. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So that's that one. So now we're going to get a little bit personal again. Dog, what is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, as in like actual like or lunch, dinner or breakfast, or just like the actual meal itself. Because like my favorite meal is always breakfast because it's the biggest meal of my day. So
so what I meant by that was like the food meal, not
right,
like
okay. What's my favorite
what time
dish?
of the day. But what's your favorite type of food, or what's your favorite?
Honestly, that's probably just a steak. You know, like steak with
Steak and potatoes kind of guy.
Yeah, probably more a steak with like good chips, not fries, like actual UK chips. You know, I know you all call chips like what we call crisps, but if you imagine really thick fries, you know, like real, you know, like proper chips like that.
So probably like what steak fries kind of are, I believe, is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
proper.
something kind of like that, something like that, but more of a cube rather than I know steak fries are tend to be a bit more sort of rectangle, don't they? Like an elongated rectangle. And UK chips are more just like the potato's just been cubed from the top down. Do you know what I mean? Like, um. So yeah, that with fried onions, mushrooms, English mustard, and salt and vinegar for the chips. Can't go wrong. Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, those are steak fries. Those are steak fries. Like UK chips are kind of different, man. UK chips are yeah.
Well, I tried.
No, those are very close. But our chips are that. See, those ones are very. You can see they're all very uniform. Whereas UK chips, you're more likely to have them slightly more variant. You know, so you get nice wee thin ones that are crispy. You know, you get crunchy ones, and then you get the thicker ones that have got the nice potato and all that in them. So you get a nice range.
Yeah. So I'm gonna grab this next one. See, I'm really torn. I love myself some pizza. You know, I'm someone who works on the pretty much on the road all day. Um, so it's kind of hard like to have a good lunch other than, gas station pizza or a McDonald's hamburger sometimes. But so I'm kind of torn between like a nice juicy hamburger or a nice slice of pizza. So I'm gonna have to do two. What about you, Britt?
Got to be either pasta or just hamburger. A good hamburger will do.
Yeah, what's on your on your burger? What's your
Anything.
anything?
Anything
So
will
like
do.
right, so like because like I've seen some wild burgers. I've seen like some whack with a fried egg and blue cheese burgers.
I've
You
had,
know what I mean?
like of course you have the beef and bacon. Of course you have the salad and onion rings as well. Just like anything will do. If the beef is like good.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the burger patty has to be spot on, or it's always a mess.
Yeah.
Mess. From what I can tell as well, burgers in the US are kind of different from in the UK. Like in the UK, we are far more likely to have like breadcrumbs in the burger to thicken it out as a binding agent and stuff. Whereas I know in the US, it's just generally X amount of meat and X amount of fat. You know, what do you call it together, and then sort of cook. So be interesting that difference because every single person that I know that has been to a UK McDonald's that lives in America is like it's so different. It's such a different meal. You know what I mean? Like, and I think probably it's primarily down to the burger itself, rather the patty itself, rather than anything else. Because bread and salad and that are they're much of a muchness, aren't they?
Yeah. So that's that, guys. What is your favorite thing to do off stream, Brett?
Remember, keep it PG friendly, please.
I mean, only you would think of that, Dog. So.
No, I don't think I'm the only one that would think of that, right?
I don't know. It's between like two things. It's either just like chilling out and gaming, or it's like doing other content like editing or like doing clips. Because like how I do it is just like have that on the side, then have music on, just like chill out and do work.
All right. What about you? Doug?
Recently, I have started getting back into painting miniatures. I have no real intention of gaming with any of them. It's more the actual painting itself, because it's very. I find it very zen-like because it's really focused, but there's no pressure. You know, so I find at the weekend when I want to unwind, hours just skip by, and I'm having such a great time just doing this very sort of slow, meticulous thing. So at the moment, yeah, and for the foreseeable, paint miniatures. I'm actually really glad I've got back into it because it is very stress relieving, and something that I look forward to. See, when I get tired in the week, you know, by the time Wednesday, Thursday comes about, and it's been a long week, I stream 5 days a week. You know what I mean? So by the time Wednesday, Thursday comes about, and you're getting a bit tired, and you think, can't wait for Saturday. I'm going to sit an audiobook on or something, some music, and just paint some figures. And so yeah. What about you, Spartan?
Well, see, one nice thing about being American is I can take certain things that go boom and go have fun with those. So I like to do that. Like to, take my firearms and go do some target practice every once in a while. I like to hang out with some friends, and especially with my family. I'm a really big family man. And of course, hang out with my new puppy, and I got a cat, my girlfriend. So, try to hang out with everyone.
What's your what type of puppy? What is your puppy's breed?
He's a boxer.
Ah,
I'll actually put a picture of him up here on the screen in just
so
a second.
be prepared for just the silliest creature ever. Every boxer I've ever known is a big, is a big silly
Klutz?
thing. Well, not necessarily a klutz, but just a sort of always up for, helter skelter fun. Like, let's go running around the room. But every boxer I've known has been very good natured as well. Though, so what's your pup's name?
Otis.
Otis. Is there a particular meaning behind that, or was it just because you like the sound of it? Hey.
Well, I mean, you can't look at that face and not tell me that's not an Otis face.
I'm gonna take your word on that.
So as you can see,
So
here,
for anybody listening to the podcast, Spartan is putting up a picture of his adorable little boxer puppy.
So as you can see here, he's got some snow on his face. That's because as you can see here, we have snow on the ground. So he decided he was going to do a face plant straight into a pile of snow and run through the snow with his face still in the snow.
Awesome.
So
Fantastic.
this was after I brushed him off a little bit. When he first came out, he kind of looked like the adorable snowman, but the abominable snowman just with his face. So it was really cute.
Either that or Tony Montana. Right, on that bombshell. Let us tie up for the week. Brit, before we go, where can we get you? Where can we find you? Give us all your links. Tell us about your stream.
You can find every social media under BritHD_, and I stream Friday to Monday. Mostly stream Siege or Destiny 2.
Awesome, fantastic. So, and you're sure Friday to Monday?
Yeah.
There, everybody, make sure you check out BritHD, a fantastic guy, a very good friend of mine, and my mod extraordinaire, I have to say as well. Spartan, where can we find you?
Well, you could find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpartanBL. On it's going to be at X SpartanBL X. So that's that. Thinking about maybe trying out some Facebook gaming live at some point. See how that goes. But as of this point, it's just going to be Twitch and Twitter.
Fantastic. And I am Dogg_gaming on Twitch, and you can find me at Dogg Gaming on all the other platforms. And we are going to be back next week. I don't know if we know who's going to be on the show next week yet. But thank you to everybody for tuning in. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Catch you later on.